I went from being an IT customer care analyst to a network analyst level 3.
I went from working in the fire protection industry to being a network support analyst.
I was working in education, and now I'm a control room analyst for NASA.
I was a support manager at Walmart, and now I'm going to be support systems engineer.
Thanks to NextGen T.
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 I have successfully changed careers and am now happy in life and in my career.
I get to enjoy what I do and level up my career.
I can actually legitimately say right now that I have a career.
I have leveled up and I have the confidence I need as a network security engineer.
Leveled up to NASA, and I'm at max level.
Thanks to NextGen T, I am one step closer to achieving my dreams.
Landing me into my first IT position.
I'm actually an engineer. It's a title I've always wanted to have. Now I have it. I achieved it.
Able to have the drive and motivation to be able to enter the field.
Thanks to NextGen T.
Thanks to NextGen T.
Thanks to NextGen T.
Thanks to NextGen T, I leveled up from a help desk position to a career in networking, and I couldn't have done it without you.
I scrubbed it up so hard. I fixed it. Fixed it. Yeah, we got it. Call tech support. We got this. We got this, yo. I'm not muted. Had the wrong thing fixed. You can hear me now, right? You can hear, yes, you can you can hear me? Yeah. God, what a scrub. Every time I put on these headphones and my audio switches and then things get all screwy and whatnot. Anyway, hello. Welcome to the show. Welcome. It's Saturday. It's wonderful. It's, 11:45 in the a.m. So, it's morning. It's a wonderful morning. It's going to be hot as everlasting heck today. Very hot today here in the Midwest. I don't know where you're all located, but here in the Midwest, it is going to be blistering hot, and I don't like that. So I figured I'd come into the office today. I get a little bit of work done, and I'll talk to you guys and see if I can help you. As I was trying to say, we have a lot of amazing people here in the chat today. So I want to give a special shout out to a few people here because they come here and they help. They answer questions, and they're just here a lot. And I appreciate these people more than you guys probably would ever know. So huge shout out to Brandon Bowman, first of all. Love you, Brandon. Thank you for being here. Huge shout out to Kev Runs on Duncan. Huge shout out to Steven Amador. Huge shout out to the bearded IT dad, of course. KevTech IT support, of course. Huge shout out to him. And congratulations to KevTech IT support. If you guys haven't yet, please go subscribe to his channel. He just hit 20,000 subscribers. So another huge shout out to him for that, because that is freaking awesome. So definitely go check him out. John Haas, what's going on? And hello to everybody else. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But hello. You're approaching the 80s out there in New York? In New York, it's going to be like 100 and something degrees today or something. Michael Spencer, you're in Bill Goodwin's class for a CCNA. Well, yes, definitely attend Mr. Bill Goodwin's class. If you guys are in class for Next Gen T stuff right now, please go attend that. You guys can watch the replay of this. Watch the replay. You guys are already doing stuff. Please go do that. Hey, oh, look at this super chat. What's up, Miguel? you just got your CCNA and you only have 2 months experience in IT. What should you do next to get into networking? Like into a networking job? Start applying for all of the things. Like seriously, start applying for all of the jobs. Like you're just going to start applying for all of the jobs that you possibly can. If you haven't got an IT job yet, I mean, you're literally just going to start applying for entry-level jobs. I mean, all of the jobs that you can find that are entry-level, help desk, technician jobs, just get your foot in the door, because even with your CCNA, like you're not necessarily going to be qualified for a networking job if you haven't got experience working in networking, right? So you need to start getting experience. The best way to get experience is just get your foot in the door. Best way to get your foot in the door is getting into any type of entry-level job. So get an entry-level job, start applying for everything. And then once you do that, you only need to work in these jobs for like a couple years, and then you can start transitioning into the networking jobs that you want to do. So just get your foot in the door, please, for the love of everything. That's what you got to do. And then if I miss any chats today, just so you guys know, I'm sorry. Sometimes my answers to your questions go on for a long time, and then I miss your chats, and then, oh my gosh, it gets a little bit, yeah, sorry. Anyway, I hope you're all doing all right today. There's a LinkedIn user. Hello, Zach. You passed your A+ last weekend. Thank you so much for all your content and advice. You're welcome, LinkedIn user. I'm very, very, very excited for you. I'm happy that you passed your A+. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad that Bill is your priority right now. Definitely get back to Bill. Hello, Leonardo. What's going on? Where's Raphael and Donatello? Michelangelo. Where are they at? Sorry. My bad. What's going on? Hello, sir. What's up? You're doing Net Plus right now. Should you do Security Plus next? Yeah, for sure. Security Plus is a great certification. I think, honestly, and I've said this before, I'll say this probably many times. I think as far as certifications go, right? Like one of the like standard certifications, if you will. I should probably close this. This is a little bright. I think more people should be getting their Security Plus certification. Like I think that's a great fundamental based certification, especially when it applies to security. A lot of people are focusing on security. A lot of people, and there's a lot of people that aren't focusing on security that should be focusing on security. So having somebody who has even a fundamental level knowledge of security will be very helpful. So yeah, obtaining a Security Plus is something that's going to be helpful for you going forward. Always. Like I just feel, and I've seen that that's just one of these certifications that it's going to be helpful for you no matter what. It's one of those things, right? It's just one of those things. It's one of those things. Sorry. I'm reading over the chat too, so sorry. Somebody's asking how much is the Google IT support certification? It's like $39 or $40 a month or something like that until you like pass all the exams and stuff like that. So I think, theoretically, I think you could probably pass everything in a month and pay like $39 or $49 or whatever the heck it is. What's going on, Corey Townsend? How you doing, sir? Good to have you here. Great question. Is iOS developer worth it? I don't know what to choose, trucking or iOS. I mean, developers, yeah, it's a very, programming and development is a very unique skill set. It's just a very unique job in general. Not everybody can do it. I could never do it. I've told this story a bajillion million times, but I started my career doing web development. So learning HTML, PHP, CSS, like all that type of stuff. I could never do that every single day for the rest of my life. So I look at programmers and developers, right? And I envy them in some ways because like they have such a high potential for large salaries. And like, just in general, like programming developers, like you guys can build like whatever you want, like, and that makes me kind of jealous and envious in so many ways because there's so many things that I would love to build and develop, but I just can't sit in front of a screen and code like that. But yeah, anyway, tons of potential there. There's just so much potential and becoming a developer, not only in just salary, just with everything that you can do with it. And we will just always need developers. Anyway, I'm not going to, I apologize. I'm terrible with names. I'm not going to try to butcher your name, but you're on the screen. I'm going to address your question here. Thanks, Zach. Can't thank you enough for your videos. Many times you say, just do it. You have passed A+, Security Plus, and CISSP. Thanks, man. You're applying for entry-level jobs now, and you're learning on Try Hack Me. That's awesome. Congratulations, and good luck to you. Difference between ethical hacking and cybersecurity. Ethical hacking falls within cybersecurity. How about I leave it at that? And then I think there's, yeah. See, Kev Runs on Duncan says, ethical hacking is a subset of cybersecurity. Steven says that his job is hiring a security engineer, among other positions. I love helping people. He works for Caterpillar now. Caterpillars. Oh, good old Caterpillar. If you guys aren't familiar with Caterpillar, they make very, very large equipment, like, you know, like bulldozers and like backhoes and all types of crazy equipment and stuff like that. I'm sure they do lots more than that, Steven, but that's all I can think of that Caterpillar does, is just very large equipment that my two little boys would just like die over, because they love that type of stuff. Anyway, yeah. If you guys are looking for jobs, hit up Steven Amador on the LinkedIn. Sorry, Steven, you put yourself out there, bro. Man, I just like scrolled all the way down on this chat now, so I lost my place. Oh no. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Hang on. Gotta mute, gotta cough. Look at that. That was like a ninja style. Anyway. Do I think it's worth getting an online degree in IT, or is it not respected? I mean, any degree is a degree these days. A degree, I would, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the chat who's got a degree and feels otherwise. I don't feel a degree has the same weight that it held even like a couple of years ago, right? Like, it's just not the same. Now, I'm not saying that a degree is useless. Degrees definitely have their purpose. They have a purpose for sure. I just don't think it really matters where your degree is from. You meet a checkbox at the end of the day. Like, that's all that matters. Unless you're going to be applying for, you know, like any of the FANG companies, which, you know, there's like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, blah 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 blah, Netflix. You know, those big companies. Doesn't really matter where your degree's from. And even those companies, they've stated like they don't necessarily care too much about the degrees anymore. So there's that, right? But if they are looking at degrees, like those type of companies, if they're still going to look at degrees, it's going to be those larger, especially Fortune 500 companies. They're going to say like, oh yeah, like we definitely want somebody who's like from Harvard or Princeton or whatever the frick, you know, because they're a bunch of prissy people, you know. That's honestly like what you run across. And there's other companies that are going to look at degrees, you know, a little bit more heavily too, but there's just so many companies nowadays that just don't even care. I've never held a degree ever. I've worked in IT since like 2001, 2002. Never had a degree. It's never stopped me from getting a job. Like, never. Not a big deal. So there's that, right? Plenty of people work in this field who have no degrees at all. Am I telling you not to get a degree? No, I would never tell anybody not to get a degree. Never would those words come out of my mouth, because I feel like they have a purpose, and some people truly feel that a degree is going to be useful for them and it has a purpose for them, and I would never want to take that feeling or that purpose away from them. So definitely go out and do it, because it is going to have some type of value for you. It is going to provide something for you for sure. Anyway, the chat, I can't keep up. Yeah. And then there's Brandon Bowman, who just like loves going to WGU and getting like all the degrees that he possibly can. So you want to talk about degrees, there's that. Here, Kev Runs on Duncan says, I've stopped seeing the degree and even the cert requirements while looking at Linux jobs here in New York City. It's weird, but great how things change overnight. Yeah, I mean, especially now, like if you look at now, especially like we're in this like quote unquote labor shortage, right? Are we in that really with IT? Maybe a little bit. I mean, we've kind of always been in that. If we really like look at things, if we look at things like, 2-3 years ago, before this whole thing, like pandemic thing started, like we've been saying, we have millions of open jobs in this field and they're not being filled. So labor shortage still falls in line potentially with IT, right? Where we have to start dropping these ludicrous requirements for jobs, right? Like 3 to 5 years experience for an entry-level job, or, degree requirements for jobs that don't require a degree. Anyway. Ooh, who wants to chime in on this one? Isa, what is the best technical way to educate yourself as a 9th grader? You want to get as hands-on as you possibly can. It depends on really what you want to do, like what part of the IT field you want to do. And then I can give you more advice on like to get more hands-on, if you will. So yeah, what type of stuff do you want to do? But there's a lot of great hands-on like labs and stuff that you can do out there for sure. That would be my best advice to you, quite honestly. And YouTube, like you're here, so there's endless amounts of resources here on the YouTube for you everywhere. Go look up Professor Messer, because Professor Messer's got it all for $3. Yeah, free dollars. KevTech IT support. Thank you, brother. Have pizza on me. Thanks for helping people in IT keep doing what you're doing, brother. Thank you. I'm going to come back to you and just give that $20 right back to you the next time I see you on the live stream, brother. But thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. Pizza does sound very, very, very tasty. Very nice. I'm kind of getting my taste and smell back, like very, very slightly. Here, I'll go in this little thing right now. Last October, I got the Rona, and I lost my taste of smell and my taste. Like I lost my taste of smell. Is that what I literally just? I cannot believe I said that. I lost my smell and my taste after I got the Rona, and then I got it back actually, like for a little bit. It was very, very like slight, and there's a lot of things that tasted terrible and whatnot. And anyway, but about a month and a half ago, I completely lost everything again. So I completely lost, like literally, like could not taste anything, could not smell anything at all. And now it's starting to come back again. Anyway, sorry. It's just stupid Rona stuff. God, stupidest thing ever. Awaken. That's a was it a Death Clock song? I have to look that song up now. Sorry. I won't get into that. Anyway, IT career questions. Hello, Zach. I have Security Plus, and you're going for your CISA Plus after. Can you give advice for later for blue teamers? What kind of advice would you like, man? Like, what is it specifically that you're trying to understand? The best advice I had for you is good luck. No, just kidding. Start doing labs and stuff, man. Honestly, that's always going to be my best advice for everybody. Like, you got to get hands-on. You have to. Like, you have to start getting into these things, like into these technologies. Start understanding these technologies. And especially when you start getting into the security world of things, there's things like Try Hack Me and Hack the Box that really make it easy for you guys to get into labs where you can actually get more hands-on. That is always going to be my best advice for everybody going forward, because you gotta get into these things, into these technologies. You have to get into to understand this stuff. So I don't think that answers your question, but I don't quite understand like what are you concerned with, I guess. Awaken. Oh man, you're 28, no experience in IT. Is it too late to start search versus community college degree? Bro, it's never too late. Hang on. If I can try to talk, this is gonna be very difficult. if I can try to talk to you guys and look up something on the YouTube studio comments thing. I remember there was somebody just like the other day. Oh man, they were like, I'm 34 years old and I forgot what they were doing. Oh man. But they were like, I studied for my A+ and now I'm working, and oh my gosh, hold on. It was such a good comment too. I think I did responded to answer status. I responded, apply. Oh my goodness, maybe I didn't respond. I'm pretty sure I responded. I don't think I'm going to find it. Way too many comments to go through. Anyway, no, you're never too old. The point is, I was just going to screenshot this and show you guys, but you're never too old. You could start at 28. You could start at 38. You could start at 48. You are never too old to start anything new in life, whether that's IT, whether you want to go be whatever. Like it. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some things you could be potentially too old to start later on in life. IT, however, is not one of these things. Anybody can work in IT. I don't care who you are. You can learn this. Like, you can learn to do this. Everybody can learn to do this. I guess I shouldn't say everybody. Some people, it's going to be very, very difficult just because, not everybody's going to grasp this stuff. But for the most part, like, if you can sit down with a book and read and, like you can grasp things, like you have a good understanding of how things like relate to one another. Or if you could sit down and watch like YouTube videos, if you can sit down and follow along on like tutorials, like how-to videos, if you can go sit down with like hack the box type of things, like you can do this. Like you can do this. This is like the same as learning anything else in life. Like it's going to take time. It's definitely going to take time. You're not going to be an expert overnight. And that's like, I think one of the greatest things about IT. You're not going to be an expert overnight, and you're not going to be an expert in 10 years. Like that's just not how this field works. There is so much knowledge in this field. Like there's so many things, and there's so many things that are just tied to one another that it is impossible for any one of us to know everything, right? Like I think there's so many of us who are tied to this thought when we're trying to like learn what we can about working in this field that we assume that we're never going to know everything that we need to know. We're never going to, we're never going to know everything we need to know about IT. And that's literally the statement right there. And we can end it. Like we could literally put a period there and just stop. We're never going to know everything we need to know about IT, period, the end. And that's okay. Like we could stop right there because that's okay. We don't need to know everything about IT. That's all right. We're not expected to. Like, quite honestly, we are not expected to. Now, end users, on the other hand, like they expect us to, right? Our users, every single user that we service expects us to know everything about IT, but that's not realistic. That's just not how it works. Real world, like our coworkers, our peers, our managers, our directors, they don't expect us to know everything about IT because it's impossible. It's literally impossible. The only thing I would expect anything out of anybody working in IT how to do, and this is the truth, right? Like, and anybody here who's worked in IT will tell you this. The only thing that I expect you to know how to do is find the answer. That's it. You know how to find the answer? Great. You know how to find the solution to the problem? Perfect. Great. You know how to Google? Fantastic. Let's go. You're never going to know everything, and that's okay. And that means also going back to I'm 28, like you're never going to be too old. You're never too old to learn anything. You can get started in this field whenever you want. You're never going to be behind. You're never going to be anything. It's not, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people put like that They try to put up that barrier of like, they try to put up a barrier into something before they even like get to the starting point, right? Like the starting point is like, how do I get into IT? And like, they put up this barrier of like, I'm too old, or I'm not smart enough, or blah, 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 blah. Right. But like, no, like take down the barriers, y'all. Like there are no barriers to this field. Like we can do this. You can do this. Anybody can do this. I promised you that. Like, I'm not just saying that. Anybody can learn this no matter the age. And in fact, I feel like in many cases, the older you are, transitioning into this field can be a greater asset to many environments because it shows in many ways that you have experience in life, which can provide tremendous perspective into different environments. And that is crucial, especially nowadays. So I think when people are looking at this age barrier thing, they just look at it all wrong. And I understand the way that y'all are looking at it, but stop, because y'all are valuable no matter how old you are. You want to work in this field and you're 68 years old, let's go. I want your like, what would it be, like 50 something years of work experience, I do, because you're going to provide a completely different perspective on how things could potentially be done, and it could be valuable. And you probably have an amazing work ethic. Thanks, Boomer. Sorry, me being sarcastic. Anyway, I missed something. Tay Crosby, thank you very, very much for the super chat. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to it. I was going on the tirade there. Anyway, Tay Crosby, you have your A+ and Google IT certs. Got an offer for a 3-month contract position, help desk with Motorola Solutions. $20K decrease from current role and temporary with potential for extension. Current WG cyber student. Did you have more? I'm going to look through the chat now. Thoughts on that temp position? 20K decrease. That is, oh gosh, that's a huge decrease. I mean, if that's something that you can afford, I'm assuming like you're a career changer. So you worked in a completely opposite field of IT before. Tay Cosby, sorry. I got to find the chat. I got to scroll down. There's a lot of scrolling. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Tay, if you're still here, what from sales? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like, unfortunately, like if you can take that pay, I hit the wrong button. If you can, let me find this thing. I want to, whatever, forget it. If you could take that, the pay decrease, like, man, that's just so hard. Like, that's not anything like I would ever be willing to do. You know what I mean? So I'm like looking at it from a personal level, but if it's like something that you can do, man, and it's just a temp position too, which makes it even more difficult. That's so hard, especially if you're in a permanent position, with a potential for extension, man, if you are comfortable right now and you're currently a student at WGU, it might just be worth it riding it out for a little bit longer until something permanent comes along. And with your sales experience, once you kind of get out of WGU, I mean, you could start leaning towards like sales engineer roles. Yeah, I think I said that right. Anyway, and things like that. And then you wouldn't have to take any pay cuts at all. And sales engineers make a lot of money. You might actually get like a pay bump. Yeah, that's just hard, man. Like, I wouldn't think it would be worth it just on a temp role alone, man. Like, quite honestly. I keep saying man. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. I apologize. So, but yeah, that's a hard life choice right there. I personally wouldn't do it purely on a temp role alone. But yeah, I don't know, man. You got me thinking. You got me in your life right now. You got me like contemplating for you. I don't think I could do that over a temp role and losing out on that much money. That just seems scary. Ugh. Anyway, I probably am missing out on lots of questions. I'm sorry. I can't answer them all. My apologies to you all. Christopher Mueller. Zach, what are your thoughts on starting an IoT business? What are you going to do with the IoTs, yo? I mean, I'm all for people starting whatever types of businesses as they want. You do you, boo. You do your thing. Brandon Bowman says, hold on something more reasonable. Hold out on something more reasonable. Yes. I agree. I would hold out on something more reasonable too, for sure. The Obliterator recently got AWS CCP. Should I go for the Solutions Architect cert afterwards? Sure, why not? Is that the route that you're looking to go? If that's the route that you're looking to go, I mean, it's good to kind of solidify up that whole track right there for sure. Oh man, I'm trying to go through the chat too. If you got questions, who is spamming? Thank you for taking care of the spammers, though. Oh, I see who is spamming. Well, I guess I won't be answering that question. Why y'all gotta be spamming, yo? Ari, currently an aircraft mechanic and cybersecurity student at the UA. How would I go about getting a paid internship? Should I also be working towards a cert? So getting a paid internship, those are definitely, from what I hear, definitely a little bit more difficult. But as far as the internships go, you have to reach out to people much more often, like much more than you probably would anything else. So it's really like a lot of word of mouth. I know like a lot of the internships around here by me, like they don't actually like post them out to the public. It's a lot of word of mouth or like internal type of postings and things like that for those. Like the school districts around here though, like they do internships. I know school districts all over do like a lot of internships over the summer. Like a lot of the internships of course happen over summer, of course. But they're a little bit more difficult to get into. You really have to keep your eye open for them, searching like all of the job boards for internships. But of course, then, like I said, reaching out to just businesses, asking them if they have anything available. That is going to be kind of your best bet, but they're really few and far between. So if you're really trying to get like that experience, it could probably be helpful to reach out to like nonprofit organizations and say, explain to them like what you're doing, to tell them, hey, I'm this aircraft mechanic. I'm in school for cybersecurity. And I'm, once I get out of the services, trying to transition, but I need to get some experience. Do you have any projects or anything that I can help you with? That'd be a great way to start getting some experience under your belt. And then should you also be working towards a cert? Yes, 100%. You should always, not always, but yes, you should definitely be working towards some certifications. CompTIA Security Plus would definitely be a great start, in my honest opinion. Oh, put some likes on the streams, guys. Uh-oh. Mr. Dewan Lightfoot. Much love, bro. Much love to you too, sir. Huge shout out to Mr. Dewan Lightfoot. I love you, bro. I'm sorry you scratched up your rims, bro. That made me cry a little bit. That made me sad. If you're still here, I actually did that like a week after I put rims on my car like 20 years ago. Totally just nailed a curb. Oh, it was so sad. It was so sad. Yeah. Anyway. Oh no. I clicked on the wrong one, but what do I think about business administration major? I don't know anything about it, to be quite honest with you. But if you're looking to get into like IT administration side of things, I mean, that's going to be helpful for you for sure. The thing about like, degrees and stuff like that, like any degree, one of the things that is still kind of like finicky, I would say, in the IT world is that oftentimes you're going to find that any type of manager position on up, they still really like to see degrees. Like that's still really like one of those things that they love to see, which I can understand more so of. So if you're looking to be in any type of management position or above, definitely having a degree can be helpful. And you'll have more success having a degree at this day and age right now. Like at this time right now, like that's still the case. I'm not saying like going forward, like that isn't going to change. It could potentially change. There are a lot of people who are in manager, director roles and stuff that don't have degrees, but you're going to find far more often that the people in those types of roles have a degree. So anyway, there's that. Quit curbing. I know, man. I couldn't help it. I seriously think I cried after I nailed that curb with the rims and man. KM, hey Zach, can you talk about how valuable job recruiters can be? You're having trouble getting any replies for your applications. How valuable job recruiters can be? Well, right now, considering the way that everything is, I would imagine job recruiters are just like, going absolutely nuts. They probably have like piles of applications and people that they have to get back to. Not that like makes an excuse for them. I just think they're probably overwhelmed. So working with job recruiters is probably very difficult right now. And I would imagine that just to like, I'm speculating here. First of all, let me just tell you, I'm speculating. That a lot of the recruiting agencies are probably starting to venture off into other industries. Like this, again, speculation, just because of where we're at in this crazy times, that these recruiters are probably trying to recruit for other industries outside of IT, even if they're specifically focused in IT, because we're all having such a hard time filling positions all around the world. So that could be a thing too, potentially. Again, speculation. I don't know. Could be. Meh. But yeah, recruiters right now, I don't know. Maybe there's a recruiter in the chat that would, say something otherwise, but I don't know. Christopher Mueller, Zach, do you have any favorite Facebook tech groups that you belong to or suggest others be part of? Thanks. Facebook tech groups, I hate Facebook with a passion. Like I truly and utterly despise Facebook with everything that I have. So I wouldn't recommend Facebook anything to anybody ever. Sorry. Can't do it. I can't do it. But I can tell you that Reddit is going to be a fantastic resource for you. So get on the Reddit for sure. And Twitter is going to be a fantastic resource as well. Specific groups, I mean, it depends on what areas of the field, you're trying to get into. But yeah, Reddit, Twitter, LinkedIn is invaluable as well. But God, for the love of everything, stay off of Facebook. That's like the plague. Like literally, that is the internet plague of all plagues. Yeah. How did I get started in IT? Ooh, boy. You want me to go? That's a long story. Not really. It all started way back in the year of 1999 when I picked up this book called HTML for Dummies because my friend at the time built a website and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I would like to do the same thing because that seems interesting to me. So I picked up this book called HTML for Dummies and the rest was history. I mean, even before that, like computers have always been part of my life because my parents ran their own business. So like we've always had computers around because they were a little bit savvy and kind of got with the times and actually did a lot of their like bookkeeping on the computer. So I remember, I couldn't even tell you what kind of computer like they were. I remember like having a Mac computer like way back in like 1990, 1989, and even like this old crusty dusty Toshiba laptop that was probably like that thick way back in like 1990, 1991. Like, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Tech and technologies and all that stuff. But it really peaked in 1999 when that's when it all peaked for sure. Peter says Reddit and Discord servers have been a huge help for me. Yeah, there's a ton of Discord servers. So you want to talk about Discord? Like, get on the Kev Tech IT support Discord server. That is the Discord server I would recommend. That one and the Job Skillshare Discord server. Those two Discord servers are what's up. John Haas, I feel you, bro. Facebook is toxic AF. 1999, your freshman year of high school, bro. We're like the same age. Well, I think 98 would have been my freshman year of high school, technically. Yeah. John, you started with HTML for Dummies in 2002-ish. Yeah. So look, we're always around on all the servers just mentioned by Zach to help. See, include it. No, well, you guys don't have to mention my server, but if you guys have links to the other servers, please link them. So Brandon's linking servers. Kev runs on Duncan is linking servers. There's plenty of Discord servers to go around. I highly suggest you guys join those ones. There's a lot of amazing people there who are more than willing to help you guys all the time. And you don't have to wait for some scrub to hop on YouTube and do like an AMA. The Agent. What are the best remote IT positions for entry-level IT pros? Any of them that will hire you. Like, that's literally the only answer that I can give you because that's it. No, I mean, the best entry-level remote IT positions, any type of help desk-ish type of positions, you know, call center support, those types of things, especially for remote. Like, that's what you're going to run into. For sure. Oh, here's the job skill share community one. Definitely. Yo, go check those out. Julian, 28 years old. You work at Trader Joe's, $22 an hour plus full benefit. Can't even talk. You have your Google IT cert and entry-level IT jobs in Sacramento pay $18 or less. What to do now? Hold on, I got a cough. So they start out at $18 an hour. I mean, basically what you could do is go in to still apply for all of these jobs. And you can attempt to blow them away in the interview by your experience working in customer service and by the fact that you're, you know, obviously trying to get into IT and see if they'll match your pay. It's possible that would happen, but you know, it's going to be few and far between that you're going to find jobs that are going to pay a little bit more. But unfortunately, sometimes, you know, when you're just starting out in IT, sometimes you have to take like a little bit of a pay cut. Hopefully you won't have to, but my advice would just still be like, go into some of these jobs and explain your situation, right? Like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm making right now. And if you can blow them away in the interview, sometimes they'll match the offer, right? Like sometimes they'll come to what you're making, or maybe they'll offer you a little bit more. Otherwise, just, you know, apply to all the things, man, until you find something that's going to be matching what you can make. That's probably like not the best advice that you want to hear right now, but it's really like the only advice that I can give you. Otherwise, you're going to have to start applying for jobs that are outside of your area, right? Like, but yeah, go into the interviews and blow them away and get them to offer you or match at least, you know, what you're making now. I hope that's a little bit helpful. I think you can do it. I know you can do it. You got this. Tay Cosby, please rate cloud network software and info network security in order for easiest barrier to enter and career potential income growth. Oh my goodness. Are you serious right now? Okay. Oh God, this is terrible. Why would you do this to me? Thank you for the super chat, first of all. Thank you all for the super chat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Easiest barrier to enter software. I don't know. Potentially, maybe, probably. I don't know, man. I mean, it's up. Oh, probably not. I don't know. Software is going to take a lot more time to learn. I feel like yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. Software is going to take probably a lot more time. So okay, let me take that. Okay. See, now you're going to make me think. You're going to make me think about this. I think software probably. I don't know. Yeah. No, software programming, that stuff will take a lot. Okay. Probably networking, cloud security software-ish. I don't know. Something along those lines. I mean, those are all like the problem is like every single thing that you put there are all the top, like the top jobs, right? Like those are all the jobs that typically pay the most money, that typically have like the most jobs listed all of the time. Like that's the problem with like what you just offered me right there. Like every single one of those that you stumped me because yeah. It's hard to say. They all have tremendous potential. Every single one of these. The easiest barrier, networking probably is probably going to be the easiest out of all of those. I mean, yeah. Oh man, probably. I hope that's kind of helpful. But these are all like amazing jobs to get into. But they're not always the easiest jobs to get into either. So, but out of all of those, maybe networking probably be potentially the easiest. Yeah. Jason, is it possible to skip the help desk and get into networking? Yeah, it's possible. Anything is possible. That's the great thing about life. That's the great thing about IT as well. Anything is possible. All of the things are possible. If you want to skip the help desk, here's pro tips, right? If you want to skip the help desk, like you're going to have to put in work. Like you actually have to show that you're capable of skipping something like the help desk. Because if you don't know, and one of the things about IT, like one of the things that we require out of everybody working in IT, out of like more than anything else, like we don't care about your degrees, we don't care about your certifications. The one thing that we value more than anything is experience. We love people with experience. So if you're just starting out in this field, to completely skip over something like help desk, which breaking down help desk or entry level, those roles literally subject you to so much BS. And I mean BS in a very, very nice way. They subject you to so many different technologies and so many different issues and just things that you wouldn't expect, right? Like you just get so much thrown at you that it takes time to understand. It takes time to develop. It takes this thing of experience to build up to really be familiar with these things. And that's why it's so important and crucial to get into an entry-level job. When you skip these entry-level jobs and jump into something like a networking job, you're missing so much of these fundamental things about, and it's not even just the technologies and things that you're missing the fundamentals on. It's just the way of like the procedures and the policies and the day-to-day operations on how things work. Those things can't be taught. Like those are the things that you're never going to learn on a certification, that you're never going to learn in school. Like they're not taught. So you have to actually work in the field to understand those. So when you try to skip and completely bypass a opportunity to gain experience, you have to some way, build that relevant experience. So how are you going to do that? And how are you going to show somebody that you have that relevant experience that you missed out on? So when you want to, skip the help desk and move into a networking job, how are you going to show and prove that you have like this relevant knowledge of understanding how a network, like how the entire network works? I'm not just saying networking. I'm not saying, specifically like Cisco networking switches. I'm saying your entire network, right? Your entire organization. Like there's so much to be said there. I hate to tell people like skip the help desk because it's just there's so much that you miss by skipping that. And I don't mean specifically the help desk. There's tons of other entry-level roles aside from the help desk. So don't just get caught up in help desk. Like there's tons of different like technician roles and analyst roles and other things like that that are entry level that will help get your foot in the door and get you this experience. But anyway, I could go on a tirade on this all day long. But yes, it's possible to skip the help desk. You just have to put in a little bit more work and show people that like, hey, you're capable of skipping the help desk because you put in this work of doing X, Y, and Z. And when I say X, Y, and Z, it's like literally like you're building your home lab and documenting your home lab. I've said this stuff so many times. It's like a broken record, but this stuff is important. Building and documenting your home lab, showing people that you're capable of doing these things, like how to do X, Y, Z. Spinning up a domain controller and setting up Active Directory and group policy. You know how to reset Active Directory passwords and you know how to create Active Directory accounts. That's great. You know what the ticketing system is, right? Like you're going to skip the help desk and you've never seen a ticketing system, right? Like there's so much crucial information in a ticketing system. And if you've never even seen one before, it's hard. It pains me. It pains me. Like there's so many. Anyway, there's just a lot. I could spend probably all day talking about this, but I won't. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. Anyway, I got to get going here in a few minutes. So if y'all have any more questions, now might be the time to ask me anything. For sure, Jason. I'm not saying you shouldn't or should skip the help. Like everybody should follow their own journey based on like what feels right for them. But really, like when it boils down to it, if you want to skip the help desk, and I've done videos about this in the past before, and you should probably follow those because I think in one of them I definitely kind of laid it out. Like here's what you really need to do. But you're really going to have to be able to show to people that you're definitely more experienced, even though you don't have the experience, if that makes sense. Thoughts on the European market? I'm in the United States and I've never traveled overseas, so I don't know anything. I'm sorry. Couldn't help you there. Oop. The equalizer, you're 41, you just received the Google IT cert, and you still can't get an entry-level help desk job. Should I get the A+ cert? Yeah, probably. The Google IT support cert, like it's not, I keep hearing, like people keep telling me that it's gaining more traction. I'm sure it is, and that's fine. It's just still not there yet. So it's a fine and dandy certification. I'm not saying that it's a bad certification. It's a great certification. It's just not an industry recognized certification yet where the A+ is. Sorry, Google. I love you. I love Google. Don't get me wrong. Google, you're my BFF. Please don't ban my YouTube channel. disagreeing with anything that you do. James, could I qualify for a job at a school district IT department after getting your A+ cert on August 9th? You worked in phone PC repair for several years. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Should be fine. I worked for school districts and I had no certifications and no degrees. So should you be able to work for a school district having a certification? I would think so. I mean, guys, I worked at a hospital and I didn't have any certifications or degrees. Like, I worked in lots of places with no certs and no degrees. It's all good. Danielle says, as sysadmin, I intentionally jump into as much troubleshooting as possible because the learning value is unmatched. Help desk experience is amazing to have if you can get it. 100%. Agree with you 100%. Dara, is the CCNA a good cert to get? Yes, absolutely. Probably one of the better certifications out of all of them to get. What's the name of the video, Zach? Which video? I got like 900 videos. I could not tell you the name of probably. I probably couldn't tell you the name of 900 of them, honestly. Sorry. I don't know which one you're referring to. One of the help desk, how to skip. It's probably like how to skip the help desk or something. Probably somewhat related to that phrasing. Skipping the help desk or something. Emotions 22. Would you work a contract-based help desk position if you have no experience or wait for a full-time with benefits position? If that was the opportunity that came across my horizon and I didn't have any other opportunities and it was an opportunity in a forward trajectory, I would take that in a heartbeat. Meaning, like, you're not losing any money. Like previously, you know, somebody had stated earlier that they would have to take a pay cut. If you don't have to take a pay cut, yeah, do it. For sure. It's experience, and experience is king in IT. Experience is king. Definitely, like, above all else. I'll say it one more time. Experience is king, okay? Brendan, you passed the CompTIA 1001 2 days ago, taking the 1002 in 4 days. How tough would you say the second exam is? I've never taken the A+, so I couldn't tell you how tough it is. But the second part of it is, you know, it's supposed to be more hard. Like, you're gonna have more what do they call it? Don't they have more like PBQs, performance-based questions on there and whatnot? They definitely have a lot more practice labs for the second part of the exam than the first part of the exam. So it's definitely a little bit more hands-on-y than the first part of the exam. Everybody says different things about the A+, though. Some people say it's easy. Some people say it's hard. Every time I look at different things about the A+, I'm like, this is silly. This is silly. I've never needed to know this. I'm like, why is this on this exam? I've never had to know that. That's a different story. And then there's some of the stuff I look on there and I'm like, oh yeah, that's good to know. I'm glad that they're teaching that. Anyway. You joined late. Well, hello for joining late. It's okay. I understand. Oh, Kevin on the Nugget. Certs are a piece of paper, y'all. You need to have more than just a cert on your resume, be it IT, Google, or A+, or whatever. You need a lab so you can list actual practical skills they want. 100%. Look at this. Guys, 24 years in IT, you can do wonders with a lab. Have a lab to build experience. There you go. Advice from a veteran in the IT field. Build a lab. All day. Oh, what do you mean by a home lab? Sure, let's go. I actually have video on this. We can Google this. Here, home lab. Oh, that's not the right one. Lab. lab IT career questions. I'm trying to Google this video for you. What is a home lab? It's perfect. Great. A home lab is something that you would set up in your home environment. And when we say lab, it's just whatever computer equipment that you have to simulate any type of working environment, business environment that you can. And you could build an entire home lab just based off of like one computer, off of the computer that you're using, and virtualize everything. So from your computer, whether that's like a Windows computer, a Mac, or a Linux computer, you can download something called VirtualBox, and you could virtualize different operating systems. So like one of the things that I love to tell people to do is, spin up a domain controller and set up Active Directory and learn about Active Directory, because Active Directory is something that's used across the majority of businesses. And just being familiar with that is something that is going to be very, very helpful for you. And this is something very easy to do. You can download VirtualBox for free. You can download an evaluation copy of Windows Server for free, and you can virtualize Windows Server from your own computer for free. So from your own computer, you're virtualizing Windows Server, and you're running Windows Server on your computer. From there, you can, promote that server to a domain controller. You can configure Active Directory on it. You can start, adding and configuring users and computers and all types of fun stuff from there. And then you can start adding more virtual machines if your computer is capable of doing that. So then you can start adding, more machines to your network and things like that. Outside of that, you can, if you're into networking, you could download something called Packet Tracer from Cisco, which is for free. And if you're interested in Packet Tracer, I'm going to pull this up right now. Packet Tracer, because I actually just started a Packet Tracer series on the Next Gen T YouTube channel. So if you guys want to get familiar with Packet Tracer and start learning about networking, this Packet Tracer series, so this is Packet Tracer 101, this is literally just going to walk you through the fundamentals of Packet Tracer. And the very last episode of this, it basically, like, we walk you through setting up your own little home or your own little network. So get familiar with Packet Tracer, and then we set you up with your own little network. But from here, you can learn about networking. It virtualizes everything for you from your own computer. Really fantastic. And then, of course, if you don't want to virtualize anything, you can start buying the equipment if that's something that you really want to do. So if you want to get in networking, like we said, you can start buying switches and buying routers, and you can start configuring them, from your home. You can start stacking these things up, and that now you're building your own home lab. You can start buying servers and buying other computers and configuring this all together. But the purpose of this is to actually get hands-on. You're actually physically touching some of this equipment, or virtually touching some of this equipment, and understanding how these technologies talk to each other and work with one another. And you're configuring it, so you're getting that hands-on. And it's all doable, very easy to do. It could be as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be, but it provides the opportunity for you to get hands-on, which you absolutely 100% need to get any type of advantage in this field. So home labs, get it done. TJ Darnell, very informative AMA. Thank you. Thank you very much for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. I'm sorry I missed that. Thank you so much. I was on my tirade there. Tay Crosby, I missed another one. Hang on. Tay Cosby, what do you believe to be the most versatile IT degree aside from computer science and general IT degrees? Sorry for making you think so much. The most versatile IT degree? I mean, you name them. Like, I don't think there's another versatile IT degree out there. To be completely honest with you, if you want my personal opinion, I don't feel too fondly about any degrees, quite honestly, because I don't feel any of the degrees I don't feel they do justice to what they should be doing. I don't feel that they're providing the value that you should be getting from them. I don't feel, from what I've seen, what I've learned, what I've heard from people, what I've, researched on them on my own, I don't feel that you're getting the actual practical experience that you should be obtaining by getting a degree. I feel that it's lacking severely. I've talked about this before, where I feel like IT, the industry as a whole, represents more of like a trade than anything else. So college has again, my opinion, college has it completely wrong. I don't feel that the way that the curriculum is developed and what people have to go through to get a degree is a good representation of how people should be learning information technology, if that makes sense. It's just I think it's completely it's just wrong. It's terrible. It's a terrible model, and it needs to be fixed. So whatever. But still, at the end of the day, having a degree, that little piece of paper, has a value. So don't get me wrong. Again, like, I'm not trying to tell you, I'm not trying to, like, whatever. Just saying, like, it's just not right. That's why, like, I tell people, if you're going to get a degree, for the love of everything, get a degree, but get a certification. And for the love of everything else, build a home lab, because that's what's going to differentiate you from everybody else who holds that other piece of paper that you still have. Like, if that makes sense. Anyway. But yes, what do I believe the most versatile IT degree, aside from the two that you mentioned? I don't think there is another versatile one. And I think they're all whatever. Here's the other thing. Like, if you want to talk about degrees too, like, right? Like, as far as IT is concerned, right? Like, having a degree is a checkbox. You could have a degree in home economics and you met the checkbox to have a degree. Like, you're qualified to apply for the job because you have a degree. So you can have a degree in home economics and have certifications and experience in IT. You're qualified purely based on the fact that you have a bachelor's in home economics, right? Like, that's all that matters, is the fact that you meet the checkbox and have a degree, plain and simple, period, the end. That's it. Get a degree in whatever. Who cares? Yeah. Anyway. What do I think about working for Geek Squad? If you want to work for Geek Squad, work for Geek Squad. It's experience. It's definitely experience. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. Casey Babel, what are you doing? How do I make Wi-Fi bars more full? You got to pump them up, bro. What do you mean? You pump them up. That's how you make them more full. I'm going to pump you up. Chef Jeffy. Hey, how's it going, man? You're 16 years old, whose father went to college for information technology, and he says that I know as much or even more than he does. Help with getting in a role. You have more than that? I don't know. I mean, yeah. If you're 16 and your dad went to college for IT, you could probably say for sure, yeah, you know more than him, I'm sure. Sounds good, mate. Yeah, pump them up, bro. Pump up them bars. Pump them bars, yo. This doesn't answer the degree question. However, CompTIA prep classes at a college often have a free voucher for the cert after class completion. That is true. I know, like, a lot of the community colleges offer that too for their classes. After you complete their course or whatever, they give you the voucher to go take certs and whatnot. But still, if you're in college, build a home lab. Please. Please, please. Please go do that. Here's Martin Foster. Definitely agree about the degree. I'm halfway through a networking associate's degree, and I don't see much benefit. Learn 10 times more on the job, self-study, research, and certifications. But you know what, Martin? When you have that piece of paper, that's going to provide a lot of value for you. A lot of value for you. Matt Ireland, you want to get into healthcare information technology. What certification do you need to get? I think there's somebody just here in this chat who works in healthcare information technology. Wonder if they could tell you. What certification do you need to get? It doesn't matter, man. It really doesn't. Well, I mean, some will help you. ITIL could be helpful, potentially. Security certifications could be helpful, potentially. Those are the ones I would look at. Deborah Osoy, what is a home lab? I answered the home lab question just a little bit ago. But I can give you this link to a video. Home lab video. There you go. That way I don't have to answer the question again. How do you deal with heavy imposter syndrome? Oh man, I love imposter syndrome. Let me keep this one up here. Everybody deals with imposter syndrome. And I think part of dealing with imposter syndrome is also understanding that everybody deals with imposter syndrome. And this is something that I like to bring up. This is a story that I love to bring up all the time. And I don't know if this person is in the chat or will be coming in the chat. Hang on. And I just told this person the other day the story because I was like, hey, man, I tell people your story all the time. I hope you don't mind. But anyway, he was a security director at basically like Ticketmaster, right? Like he was a security director there. And we met, blah, blah, blah. We talked, we're great friends, you know, and he left that job. And then he is now, I'm not going to say it on this live chat, but he's working for a very much larger organization now. Think of the likes of like, you know, like Apple, Facebook, Amazon, right? Like that large of a company. Like that's where he's working. So he's a security director at one of those large companies now. And when he was going through the interview process, like we were talking and he was like, dude, like, I don't like, that's like his like thing. Like, I'm not there. Like, I shouldn't be here. I'm not qualified like for this. I can't do this, you know? And I'm like looking at this guy because this is somebody that I look up to. Like this guy has been working in the field longer than I have, you know, like 25, 30 years. Like he's this guy who is literally the freaking like CISO or whatever of freaking like Ticketmaster, right? Who's about to be working at this whatever big, huge organization who's telling me he has imposter syndrome. And I'm like, hold up, bro. Wait, what? I look up to you, man. Like I look up to you. And you're telling me that like you have imposter syndrome? What? He's like, yeah, man. Like, I just don't feel like I can do that. And so I had to sit there and pump him up. I'm like, bro, like you just like, here's everything that you've done in your life. Like you can do this. Like you've got this, right? Like I just bring up this story because I think it's incredibly important to understand that even when you get to the top, to the very top, like what could like I would consider the very top, like you're about to go work for frickin' like I'm just throwing like this isn't where he works, but you're about to go work for like Amazon, for instance, right? Like you're about to be like this security director at Amazon, and you're telling me like you don't feel like that your work like you could do that. I'm like, wow, that was like this reality check for me. Like everybody feels this way. It doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing. We all feel like imposters. I guess not all of us. A lot of us feel like imposters in what we're doing. I guess not all of us, because it's what I want to say now is like the people who do suffer from imposter syndrome, who do feel that way, tend to work much harder. Like if you have that self-realization that like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough for this, or maybe like I'm not ready or whatever, like that's going to make you work harder. That's going to make you try much harder at what you're doing to make you like really understand, like, hey, I do belong here. Like, I should be here. Like, we don't, as human beings, we don't give ourselves enough credit for like what we do and what we've accomplished. We also need to like take a step back and say, like, okay, like, if we're getting this job, if we've achieved this job, if we're working at this job now, we have this imposter syndrome. Like, why do we have imposter syndrome? Because clearly we just got this job. Somebody here saw something in me. They saw something in me. They knew I could do this job. Somebody here had enough confidence to say, yes, they can do this job. You have to take credit for that. So you have to like take a step back and say, okay, somebody saw something in me. I can do this. So, yeah, there's so much about imposter syndrome, and of course, I have a video on imposter syndrome. If I can find it. Oh, look, there it is. Imposter syndrome video. Syndrome video. There you go. Well, that was like freaking 3 years ago. That was a while. Anyway. Oh, I gotta get going here. All right, I got time for like maybe 1 or 2 more questions. So if y'all got a couple questions, now is that time to start asking away. And I gotta start closing up shop here. You are welcome for my answer. I hope it's kind of helpful. Like I said, man, imposter syndrome it's the best way to deal with it. I feel like it is just to have an understanding that you're there for a reason, right? Like, you have to understand, like, you're there because you proved that you belong there. You did the work to show that you belong there and you're there. And the fact that you have that realization of imposter syndrome, I think only shows that you're going to work harder. Anyway. Smita, Zach, you are my brother. I like how you think and put things in perspective. Thank you. I try to do what I can. I try to help as much as I can. All your tips are helpful. I try to be as helpful as I can. That's what it's all about. Thank you to everybody who showed up today and provided help. Steven and Kev runs on the Dunkin' Donuts and the Mr. Bowman. I appreciate you all very, very much. Steven, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, brother. Appreciate that, bro. You work with people who are app pen testers and app developers, PhDs, ex-Facebook. I feel like a guppy in the ocean. Imposter syndrome is very, very real. Chin up and work hard. Man, when you work with people like that, like it's especially great when you work with people who are smarter than you. Like, you should always feel like the stupidest person in the room. And you should always be okay with that. Like, I really feel that way. Like, if you are in a room, and I feel like if everybody in that room has that same feeling, like, it's going to be great because you're all going to be learning from something, or you're all be learning from each other, right? Like, if everybody in that room feels like a complete idiot, like, you guys are all going to learn from one another. And a lot of people in IT, we all kind of feel that way. We all kind of feel like we're the stupidest person in that room, which is great because we're going to learn something from our coworkers, from our peers. It's okay to feel that way. It really, truly is. There's so much to learn about this field. So it's okay to feel like stupid sometimes. Like, I really mean that in the most genuinely, like, wholesome way. I really, really do. Kenneth J, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that very, very much. Love you guys. You are the best. And this all day. Share your knowledge with others, please. Don't be selfish. That's like one of the greatest things about the IT community, I think, as a whole, is especially with a lot of the people that you would find in this chat, a lot of the people who are associated with this channel in any way, or who have, similar types of channels and feelings, followings, whatever. This is a community of people who genuinely want to help people. We want to share our knowledge. We want to reach out to other people and share the advice and experiences that we have so that you too can be successful. And that's what this is all about. Somebody asked about Splunk. I like the Splunks. Splunks is fun. Howling Fjord. It's good to see you. It's the people that are super confident that you should be skeptical of. This is true. This is so true. Yes, the people who are super confident. Yes. Oh gosh, I could talk a very long time about these types of people. Not that there's anything like very wrong with these types of people, but sometimes like the super confident people can definitely they can definitely be a pain to say the least. Anyway, yes, it has been a while. The Howling Fjord. It's good to see you. Anyway, all right. Thank you all for being here on this wonderful, incredibly hot Saturday afternoon. Now at this point, I don't know. Let's see what the temperature is. Now it says that it's 90 degrees and it's supposed to get hotter. It's terrible. It's supposed to storm later. Great. Fantastic. What's the heat index? Why doesn't this silly phone show the heat index thing? Oh, it says feels like 100. It feels like terrible. I hate the heat. Anyway, thank you all for showing up today. I hope this was helpful for you all. I think I should just do more live streams where it's just, you want to work in tech, ask me anything, because this is fun. This doesn't really provide a structure. This just provides a let's talk and ask questions. Where am I at? I'm outside of Chicago. The Bears. Anyway, all right, y'all. Stay safe, stay cool, and hydrated, and all that fun stuff. And always be learning, man. Yeah, always be learning. It's fun. Anyway, take care, y'all.